Thanks for tuning in to my gaming podcast, Gems in Gaming, where I play various games and tell different stories about my life, experiences, wisdom, anything to help inspire and encourage others. You were born with the ability to change someone's life, and you should never waste it. If you enjoy, please like, comment, or subscribe.
Kingcayne.
Alright, what's going on, y'all? So, it's been, I don't know, I guess a few weeks maybe, I'm not really sure. But it's been some time since I did this Gems in Gaming. And, this week we're going to play Fire Emblem. I think it's relevant to the topic of today. But also, I haven't played this in a while, and I think it'd be good to kind of like explore this again. Re-explore, is that a word? Let's make it a thing for now. So yeah, let's re-explore everything in Fire Emblem. But I like this game. If you've never seen it before, it's like a strategy-based game, kind of like Final Fantasy Tactics or whatever people are, playing now. I know I probably aged myself saying Final Fantasy Tactics, but it's all good. So, today's topic for Gems in Gaming would be stick to the plan. Stick to the plan. This is obviously, like I said, many things that I talk about are relevant to me, obviously, but this one today is definitely relevant because I had to learn a valuable lesson about sticking to the plan. So if you know anything about me and you know my story, I started my own business a year ago now, if not long, actually longer than that, a year and a few months ago. And when you are starting your own business and you jump out into an entrepreneurship, it is not a easy, or entrepreneurship, I don't know, I'm blanking right now, but it's not an easy thing to essentially go full time in. It's very stressful. You have your moments where you start to doubt, is this really working out, right? Like right now, you're building the foundation, but you have a lot of doubt, which is natural and very normal. So if you're considering starting your own business, don't worry. Very normal to experience. But in starting my own business, I had to rely on creating my own routine, or creating a routine. You might have seen this in a previous Gems in Gaming. I think I was playing Final Fantasy X. I was playing Blitzball in Final Fantasy X. But this is very normal for you to be your own boss and get distracted often. Like, you're free to basically make your own time, your own schedule. You're free, so much so that you haven't been used to this type of freedom before, that you kind of get distracted by everything. So I had to create a routine. So like every morning, every afternoon, every evening, I am making sure that I'm doing something that is productive or progressive more than anything towards my goal. All right, so stick to the plan. Through making these schedules, through mastering my time, through these things, I've started to know when to hold them and when to fold them. I'll say it like that. So I started to know, when I should say yes and when I should say no. By the way, do y'all see this weapon right here? I don't know if this is like a modded weapon, but I'm playing, what is it? The original version of Fire Emblem, which means if your character dies in battle, they die in real life. They die in the rest of the game. So I've lost quite a few people not being prepared because it's a very challenging game. So I'm using this modded weapon. Judge me all you want. I need it. So yes, excuse me for getting distracted, but in this, mastering my time and in putting these efforts into doing so, I've discovered that saying yes to everything is not great at all. It's a terrible idea. In fact, the more you say yes to certain things, you're saying no to better opportunities. You have to be very mindful and discern exactly when to say yes and when to say no. It's easier in hindsight, right? You might say yes to something in the beginning of whatever it is that you're doing, and have regrets later for saying yes. That's okay. It's easier in hindsight. You'll make less mistakes as you go forward. But why am I saying stick to the plan? When you start to know I didn't know what to say there. When you start to know when to say yes, when to say no, you then have to stick to your wisdom and not get pressured into saying yes or no when you really didn't want to. So, like I do, I tell a story about how this is relevant to me. This is a lighthearted story, but still obviously good enough that it motivated me to make this a topic for today. But I got invited, I get invited to a lot of things. You guys might have seen, if you're closely watching me, you might have seen me at esports events. I've been my business and my team have been getting invited into esports events lately. Esports is the future, which is awesome for me considering I love doing this gaming podcast. So that's not a bad thing to get into, especially for me. But I get invited to like tech events, career fair events, anything that's relevant, for my business. I get invited to a ton of these different events. So in getting invited to these events, I'm starting to, create a pattern, create a routine, even when I'm there in these events. I know exactly when I should be going to something, when I shouldn't be going to something. I make sure that I've even mastered my routines in events, right? And it's not a thing that I would say everyone does. So just be mindful, like you're hearing it from me, that it's a great idea to plan everything that you do. Even if you do a certain thing like events multiple times, then I would make sure to do that. Like build that habit of building a routine. So, as I'm building this routine, I get invited to an event yesterday. An event that, at my current level, is not as productive. I'll say it like that, for me to attend this event with the same attention, the same care that I would attend other events, because I'm kind of past this stage a little bit, respectfully. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go to this, and this. Like, these are like 3 sessions and a dinner at the event. I'm going to go to these events, and I'm going to promote my business at these events strategically. That's the whole thoughts in my head. But then I get an email from someone who invited me to an event saying, "Hey, are you here? Like, I'd love for you to come meet so and so." Now, this event is local, and for me, local is here in Atlanta, and I live in Atlanta. So I'm like, you know what? I stopped what I was doing, which was supposed to be recording this Gems and Gaming, and I would drive to the event, and I'll go. But this event was in downtown Atlanta. If you know anything about downtown Atlanta or many downtown places, parking is never a fun experience. I'm sure many of you deal with parking issues. I definitely knew when I was heading downtown, like, man, the parking's gonna suck. But, you know, this person messaged me even though I said I was going to go later, even though I said I was going to go to this, even though I said I was going to go to that. Because this person messaged me, I'll stop everything I'm doing and I'll say yes. I almost felt obligated to say yes. Now, what is my issue right there? I shouldn't be saying yes just because I feel pressure to do so. No one should ever do that. You know, make that a habit of not giving in to peer pressure. Peer pressure can be good, it can be bad, but I made a foolish mistake of trying to impress someone instead of sticking to my plan. And there's this book by Sun Tzu called The Art of War. If you don't read, I'm telling you, this is a very easy read. Very easy. Like, before I made a habit of reading, before I made a hobby of reading, honestly, reading was not my favorite thing to do. Like many people, it wasn't my favorite thing to do. Like, I'd rather be doing anything else except reading. But when I wasn't like reading constantly, I did read The Art of War by Sun Tzu. The Art of War. Super easy book, like I said. And I read this book and I see, you know, different techniques that this great war general used to win battles. Very strategic, very clever. But something that always stuck out to me was the methods used to distract his enemies. Essentially, it's so much easier to win a battle if the other enemy is distracted. I'll say it like, I'll keep it as simple as that. It's so much easier to win a battle if the other enemy is distracted, or if the enemy is distracted. You're living in life and treat life like a video game. If you treat life like a video game, then hopefully you are the protagonist of your story. I would assume you would be the protagonist of your story. And if you are the protagonist of your story, you have to come to terms with one very real thing, that you are going to have opposition. And if you have opposition, then that opposition's job is to beat you in battle, whatever battle you're facing. It could be little things, like if you're going to work every day and you're working for somebody, you probably got that coworker who just doesn't want to see you succeed. Or if you're trying out for art, like exhibits or art shows or whatever the case is, and people are, you know, there's someone telling you that your art isn't good enough, or you're trying out for sports and you work out and you practice every day, and then someone, you know, tells you to give up, right? Those are your enemies distracting you from you achieving your goal, from you chasing your dream. And it's very, very common, a very common thing that you will experience for the rest of your life. You are going to have people sent to distract you, and it doesn't always have to be negative, like people trying to give up your dreams. Sometimes just inadvertently, hey, you want to come to this party? It's so and so's going to be there. Did y'all see that RDC1 skit where it says when you miss out on a party, where they said you miss out on a party and then everyone was there? Like Mark missed out and like Drake was there and all this stuff. You know, that it could be something like that, where it sounds, you know, it sounds like, oh, bad if I miss a party like that. But in reality, it could be something good like that sent to distract you, right? You know, obviously they're making a skit and they're poking fun, but, you know, if you're focused and you got something to do, you got something major to do, you got to consider there are going to be distractions for the rest of your life. The rest of your life. If you're like me, if you are married, distractions for the rest of your life. If you're someone who's trying to get married, prepare for distractions for the rest of their life. You might be with your future spouse at this current moment, and then you turn the corner and you see exactly what you shouldn't be you see exactly what you shouldn't be seeing, and next thing you know, boom, you distracted. keeping you away from what you have. You're getting distracted looking at something that you might possibly want. It happens. I mean, it's going to happen for the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be it's not just relationships. It's everything in your life. So if that is the case, then you're aware of this. Then what do we do? How do we make sure that we avoid these distractions and we stick to our plan? One, let's figure out what goals we currently have. Like what are our current goals? What's our main what is our main focuses right now? If we stick to whatever our main focus is, it's easier for us to start to plan around that. For example, like I said, I'm married. I mean, this to me is an easy one, because when you're married, what is your primary goal? Your family. Right now, my family is me and my wife. Eventually I'll have kids, Lord willing. We will have to provide and make sure that they are good, and our kids' kids are good, so our grandkids. So like the planning I have to do now has to be generationally. I can't live my life anymore in the now, right? I can't get distracted by, hey, this is going to be cool right now, but is it going to help for my goal? If it's not helping for my goal, I can't get distracted by it. That's the mentality. Dang, I don't even remember what she just said. But that's the case for a lot of things that you're gonna have to do, and you're gonna have to plan for. Distractions. You're gonna have to plan for all that, and you need to tell yourself, okay, this is my goal, and if my goal is a long-term goal, then I can't get distracted by now things. There's this book. I see people that get mad all the time, just always angry, always upset. Like it consumes their life, whether they know it or not. They are just angry, and I lived that way for a very long time, just consumed in anger. I didn't care what anyone said. Just the fact, just saying something to me, I took it as disrespect, and then that anger took over. And I'm great with the wordplay. So if someone said something that I didn't like, I can make them feel real bad about it. Trust me, it's not a great trait. I'm not trying to brag. I'm just letting you know. I was highly upset majority of the time. So as someone who has lived that life, I can tell you right now, we get distracted, especially if you're angry, by anything, and we engage in it. That's still a distraction. And we're letting our anger dictate our actions. That's not healthy at all. That's not, and it's not a good problem to have. I don't think there's anything wrong with anger. That's not what I'm saying. But acting on it, oh, for sure that could be very, very detrimental to you. If you can't control your actions when you are upset, that could be very, very dangerous for you. So, with that in mind, there's another book. I'm getting y'all a lot of books today. That's good, because I heard something that 7th graders are reading on a 4th grade level. I'm not saying y'all are in middle school or elementary school or something, but I'm just saying that in today's society, apparently, reading is a lost art. So let me give you some homework. So the book is called Don't Sweat the Small Stuff, and it's all small stuff. It's the name of the book. Clever, simple. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. I'll summarize it for you this way. Will whatever you are about to focus on and deal with, if it is not relevant 5 minutes from now, you shouldn't be focused on it. You definitely shouldn't get upset about it That's for sure. And trust me, I use this technique and it's helped me. Don't sweat the small stuff, and it's all small stuff. When I used to really like sit there and think about what it was I was upset about, or the things I would engage in and be upset about, I'm like looking at myself now like, why on earth would I spend, or was I spending so much time on something that was completely irrelevant to my life, just in general, just irrelevant in general. And I spent so much time in arguments, in debates, in foolish banter, in roasting sessions, trying to become popular. I spent so much time doing foolish stuff because I was sweating the small stuff. I was too distracted to realize that it was all small stuff. The easiest way to beat your enemy is to keep them distracted. There are a lot of gems in that book that I'm describing to you, but keep that one in particular in mind. The easiest way to distract someone, beat your enemy is distract them. That's the easiest way to defeat your enemy. So, I'm telling you that because of my story that triggered it, but what else are we getting distracted by? I was describing anger. That's getting angry is something that afflicts a lot of people, but the elephant in the room is us getting distracted by the technology of the day. That's the real deal right there, getting distracted by the technology of the day, because we 100% are. I was in San Francisco. I was speaking to a mentee, I'd say, and I don't know what was happening. So I'm in San Francisco and just talking to the mentee about life and asking her how much she knows about the Bible, and she's like, I don't really know that much about it. And I started explaining to her, basically entry level, I guess. I started explaining to her about Genesis, just the earliest book, the whole concept and everything from Genesis. And I love doing Genesis first with people, or primarily with people, because it to me is easy to it to me is easy to explain. I don't want to say the story of creation, but explain what happened in the Garden of Eden, based off the context of the story. So let's say God had what? I don't have any seals. Okay, God had what? He had the tree of knowledge at this point of the story that I'm describing to her. The tree of knowledge of good and evil. And he also had his sons and daughters, his son and daughter, Adam and Eve. And Adam and Eve are in this garden. And God is saying, hey, whatever you do, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. If you do that, I guarantee you'll die. So what happens? Some time goes by, and he actually says this to Adam. This was before Eve, but some times go by, and then Eve gets distracted or doesn't stick to the plan. Was the plan even set to her from Adam? These are questions that that I have as I study and learn more. But you should watch Dr. Miles Monroe. He's far better teacher than I am, in my opinion. I like him a lot. Sorry, I need to pick a person. Let's do that. So, you know, Eve is getting distracted in this period, and she decides to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
What's my
And
strategy?
in eating from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, Eve, you know, I mean, you guys know how the story goes. I'm playing a game, so it won't be as articulate as I would like. So let's just stick to the concept that I was describing to my mentee. You know, I was explaining to her how there were two people in this story, two, who had one set of instructions. Don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil. Just that's it. That's the instruction. That's all. No, nothing more. You don't have to do anything else just besides listen to what I told you, which is don't eat from the tree. Oh, this class does not have. Oh, that's doo-doo. Oh no, that's trash. We gotta change this class for sure. But you know, that's all. That's all. That's the only thing I'm asking you to do. And if you can do that, you know, I'd be a very, very happy person. If you just don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil.
I'll do my best.
What do you guys think happened? I don't know if y'all know the story, but it did not happen. They did eventually both eat from the tree. And I was explaining them to my mentee. I love this story so much because whether you believe or not, it just shows you how easy it is to get distracted, even when it's only two people. Think about that. It's only two people on this planet, on the planet at this time. No more, no less, just only two. The only thing I'm asking these two people to do, just two people. That's the only thing I'm asking is whatever you do, don't eat from the tree. Ate from the tree as soon as she got home. Oh, okay. She was like, this tree is banging. This fruit is delicious. And God's like,
Am I getting closer?
God, bro, oh my meat, I told you. Don't eat from the tree. Why didn't you listen? Why didn't you listen? And then they both got in trouble. If you don't know how the story goes, me like casually playing games and explaining it, it will not. I'll have to explain it differently, you know,
All right, who's next?
in a different setting. Far better experience me explaining the whole story, but just two people distracted
Onward.
that easily, that quickly. God said, don't eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil, and we did anyway. So what is where am I going with this? It's like sticking to the plan is so important, but so hard to do. That is the reason I am explaining it to you today in this way, because I know just as well as anyone how easy it is to get distracted in this world. I understand that. Very, very much so. I understand that. So with that in mind, you have to let's start this over. It's a lot more difficult than I remember. Strategy games. But yeah, with that in mind,
Shall we?
you need to make sure that you understand the moral of that story, which is it's hard out here, very difficult, and you need to have the mentality that if two people struggle, then I really need to step my game up and make sure that I'm doing the right thing. I really need to make sure I'm doing the right thing, because it is not an easy it's not an easy world to live in, and to take it lightly is honestly disrespectful, because so many more people before us have lived and have tried and have done their best
For Gerald.
to stay grounded and not get distracted, and they failed. You know, I'm just telling you off the accounts of the stories of people that lived before me and before us.
Onward.
So I take that stuff very seriously. History was not my favorite subject in school, but as I'm getting older, I'm like, man, I wish I paid more attention to history. Like, legit, because it's a lot of things that. All right, I was wondering if. Oh, he really. Nice. You know, there's some things that we could like really take, you know, into consideration from really studying the past and really studying where people before us have failed. And that, and it's not a, in my opinion, it's not like a negative thing that people have tried and did not succeed before us. I don't believe so, because the first two people tried and they were like, bruh, how long we gotta not eat this plant? How long we gotta not, you know, how long we gotta make sure we don't do the wrong thing? I don't know how long it took them, but it clearly didn't last forever. It didn't last forever, and it won't. You know, that's something you have to consider. Like, you'll have a plan, and you'll try your best to be focused, and you'll try your best to make sure that you're doing the right thing. Just know how the devil works is he'll wait for the best moment to come and say, all right, you should try this thing over here. You should just do this. Look how good you've been doing. Here's your, you know, just do this for a little bit. Like, simple little stuff like that, just to distract you and make sure that you are not sticking to the plan. If, you know, the devil's your enemy. Remember, if I said, if you are the protagonist of your story, which we are hoping that that is the truth for you, but if you are the protagonist of your story, then you are going to have an enemy. And study the art of war. The easiest way to win a war is to keep your enemy distracted. Better stick to the plan. And what is your plan? You know, let's start simple. Like, what is your plan? Like, what exactly, what goals do you have? You know, what are you envisioning for yourself? Because, you know, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen with you just, you know, waiting and hoping that it will. Nah, you got to have a plan. Y'all remember the gems and gaming, faith without works is dead? That's real. That's real. You need to put in the work to make sure that whatever you have envisioned for yourself, whatever your plan is, we don't need a story out here to not hear your greatest works come to life. You better get on it. Better stick to the plan. I don't know what your plan is, but you stick to it. That's all the only thing I'm encouraging you to do. Stick to it. And you worth it too. That's the best part. Is like, you're worth it too. It's like, why would you not, you know, plan for your future and stick to it? You worth it. Like, that's the coolest thing about it. And if you weren't worth it, no one would be out here trying to distract you. Right? Like, if you were nobody, then let them succeed, let him succeed, let her succeed. Like, if you nobody, let them succeed. I mean, what's gonna happen? But you know that's not the case for you. Obviously, you know you have a lot of opposition, which is, like I said, natural. You're gonna have that opposition. you're 100% going to have the opposition, and they're out here, and they're waiting for you specifically. You know, they're waiting for you to not fulfill your dream. Actually, they're not waiting for it. They're planning on you not doing it. They're like, yo, we are going, no matter what we do, we are going to distract this person. Have that mentality. You know, you may not have an actual enemy. Planning this as articulately as I am describing that they will be planning against you. But if you have the mentality that someone is planning, you will not be distracted when they come against you, because you'll stick to your plan. What are your goals? Make sure that you have a plan to achieve those goals. Make sure that you are behaving accordingly in every scenario, because all it takes, as we see from the book of Genesis, all it takes is that one quick little, hey, let me come show you something over here, come here real quick. Boom, just like that. You go, oh, what's that over there? Boom, got her. Boom, got him. Just like that. That's how quick it is. So you got to make sure nothing's sneaking up on you. And I'm telling you, like I said, it's pretty easy to get distracted today. I mean, it was easy to get distracted in the beginning. So imagine now where we got our phones on us constantly, all the time. Anything we want to see, right in our pocket. Is that part of the plan for you, to see anything that you know, anything? If not, then I would highly suggest you focus up. I mean, that's all I can really say to you is focus up. And I'm not telling you this like, you know, I'm telling you this out of experience, you know. I'm telling you this out of experience. Focus up. I mean, I can't describe it any better way than that. Truly, if I could, I would, you know, I would, but I just have to be very blunt and very honest with you. Just like, all right, it's time to tighten up. But I can already tell that this is going to take longer than expected. Which is all good, but I'm not really trying to be down here too long. I was supposed to do this yesterday, and it's time I go, you know, make some dinner and actually watch Miles Monroe. We do that often, so I'm try my best to speed through this and get out of here. But yeah, I hope y'all got something from this conversation. I hope y'all understand the importance of sticking to your plan. Whatever that plan is, you know, plan it accordingly and stick to it. Don't let anyone or anything distract you out here. You know, take it from Eve. It's easy to get distracted. Take it from Adam. It don't even take your enemy to distract you. Sometimes it could be your loved one who's distracted, sent here to distract you. It's a lot of things out here against you, but you're prepared for this. Trust me. I'm telling you from experience. You are prepared for this. But yeah, I'm about to log out of here. This is much longer than I thought. I think it's towards the end game now, so I don't believe it's going to be easy from here on out. But alright, y'all take it easy, and God bless.